it is not that always you get the right data from the right sources.
Absolutely,
You get
absolutely.
mixed up data. So
Right,
if you go
right,
by that data, then probably your decision making it is going to be wrong.
right.
Yeah. So I mean that is another thing. And for example, right, performing a high performing team, which is again very 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 important.
Right.
Right. Without the team, without people, nothing you could deliver.
Absolutely.
Right. You
True.
have to create a trust, a rapport with the team, and
Absolutely.
yeah. So you have to empower them.
Hi, welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, a podcast series by Directors Institute, World Council of Directors. I'm your host Charu Mehra, and today we are honored to have with us a true visionary in the world of IT infrastructure, cloud transformation, and digital strategy. With 25 years of experience, Mr. Sathiya Andivel has led large scale infrastructure operations, overseeing 1,600 plus professionals, and driving technology transformation for over 60 clients across North America. He has played a pivotal role in optimizing IT strategies, implementing AI driven automation, and ensuring business continuity for some of the world's most recognizable brands. A recipient of multiple global performance awards, he has consistently set benchmarks in service excellence, cost optimization, digital transformation, and leadership. Get ready for an insightful and thought provoking conversation with one of the industry's finest. Satya, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Charu. Good morning, and thanks for setting up this meeting. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to having a discussion with you
Oh,
today.
sure. Yeah.
Okay. So, Satya, every successful leader has a journey filled with pivotal moments. Some are planned and some are completely unexpected. From starting out in the world of IT infrastructure to now leading large scale global operations and transforming businesses with AI and automation, your career has nothing short of extraordinary. But let's take a step back. Before it all started, what was the first spark that set you on this path?
Again, I mean, thank you for asking this question, first of all, right? A very interesting question. I think I
Right.
have got a lot of things to share it across.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
I don't know. I mean, if you have enough time to accommodate all the content. But anyway, let me tell you. From my childhood, right, I used to see my dad repairing radios,
Wow.
right? And that was the, spark. And
Right.
when he repairs the radio in technical point of view and all that, my curiosity is all about other end.
Mhm.
Okay. This box I'm able to see,
Right.
I'm able to listen, I'm
Right.
able to, listen to music or news and all that. But my curiosity is, I mean, where it is coming from,
Oh, nice. Right.
right? And that is what the kind of, the curiosity I had. And then I asked my dad, and he said, hey, there is a broadcast. They are sending electromagnetic waves, which is cutting across the antenna in your radio. That is converted into electrical signal, amplifies it, and it becomes a kind of volume and sound, all that. I said, I mean, what should I do? I mean, I wanted to know. He said, you get admitted into electronics and communication engineering so that you get to know what it is.
Right.
I had a polytechnic college nearby my home. I
Mm-hmm.
got an admission, and first semesters are pretty much, your language, mathematics, and all that.
Right. Right.
Second semester starts with, the basic engineering. I come across a subject called oscillators.
Mm-hmm.
Common base oscillator, common emitter oscillator, common
Right.
collector oscillators.
Right.
Oscillator is nothing but your radio stations.
Okay. Okay. Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
And the 1 week, I mean, I had gone through that, and the curiosity connected the way back. What was the
Right.
question I asked?
Right.
The next day, I mean, next weekend, usually my college allows me to go to the city and procure some fundamental items, basic
Right.
necessity items, and had food and all that. I bought some basic electronics items. I still remember the transistor called the CL100, SL100, some of
Okay.
the capacitors, resistors, printer circuitry boards, soldering iron and everything.
Right.
Brought it back to my hostel room. I was just, working on. I was able to set up 2 radio stations in the hostel.
Wow.
Do you know
Wow.
the cost of the radio station, Charu, by any chance?
Please do tell us.
Let me tell you, each costed me 60 rupees.
Oh my God.
All
That's
right. And
wonderful.
yeah, so I had one in my room. I had given another the radio station to my friend who was
Right.
staying almost 100 meters away from me.
Right.
Same hostel, different hostel rooms.
Right.
We used to talk each other through this radio station.
Wow.
And my radio signal used to get received in our regular radio receivers.
Okay.
So that is when I realized that technical and technology, how impactful to the society.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
120 rupees, I was able to talk to my friend, and that too in the restricted hours.
Right.
During my study hours, 8 to 10 is my study hours. I'm not
Right.
talk to
Right.
anybody. Right?
Right.
And we used to have all interesting dialogue, and I think so excited. And I felt like, it was a kind of lifetime achievement what I had by the time when I set up these 2 radio stations.
Right.
So we
Right.
started. Then the same, diploma engineering, I come across microprocessor 8085. And I mean, beyond my coursework, what I do is, I do a lot of research.
Right.
My professor used to teach me saying that you write a program in assembly language to find out the smallest number and largest number.
Yeah.
Find out the odd number and, even number.
Right.
Do everything.
Right.
But during weekend, what I do is I set up my calendar in the microprocessor itself.
Wow.
Okay, you give the date, it will tell you the day. You give the date, it will give you the date.
Wow.
It's very interesting. So what I do is, I don't stop just with the theory. I started experimenting a lot of things.
Right.
That is how my career, just started with, the technical leadership and transformation and digital and all that. My final project was burglar alarms, right?
Okay.
What you talk about today, AI, CCTV camera and all that,
Right.
almost 26, 27 years back.
Right.
But it was not so sophisticated one, but still, it detects the movement, it gives you an alarm and all that. So that was the project. So these are all some exciting news that I had. And that is how the spark came into me. I started recording.
Wow, I mean, it's incredible, Satya, and being at that age and having that interest and curiosity to know where that sound was coming from, and it's so fascinating to hear how that small thing, sparked something in you, and it shaped your entire career. Wonderful.
Right. But the good thing is, theory is important, which gives you knowledge.
Right.
When you experiment, that gives you different theory.
Absolutely.
That gives you further room for you to do a further research.
Right.
And when I do all such things, right, I think one thing, I just wanted to share it with you. I was the college topper for all consecutive semesters.
Wow.
Because the theory goes into experiment comes back to theory.
Right.
It was quite good experience that I had. And
I'm sure.
All the kind of an excitement, I just, moved into experimental based career, which is IT infrastructure today.
Right. And we see the changes that you've brought and the transformations you've done. So it's been wonderful.
Yeah. And the another one, and when I joined my first company, which is typically a fire alarm manufacturing company.
Okay.
Right? That detects the fire, smoke, heat.
Right.
In the initial stage, gives you an alarm.
Right.
Whatever they were handling, those are pretty conventional fire alarm panel. When I joined the company, maybe in the 6 months of time, we were into multiple discussions. I told my managing director of the company, hey, this conventional fire alarm, it gives you alarm, right? You have to find out which floor it is.
Okay.
Obviously, you have the floor name, which section of the building and all that. It is printed and they have it in the box itself, panel itself. But over the period, you are not able to read because it gets vanished. because of
Right.
the moisture, climate conditions, and all that.
Right.
I
Right.
told him, can I go ahead and do some innovation, give you digital fire alarm systems,
Wow.
which will throw you the floor, which department, A wing, B wing, or
Right.
whoever it is, right? You don't have to worry about it. And it is
Right.
very systematic. And it is mostly fire alarm and all that, it is very time sensitive stuff,
Absolutely. I was about to say
right?
that. I mean, yeah.
Conventional panel give you some alarm, but
Right.
finding out which floor it is going to take a hell lot of time.
It's going to take time.
But the
Right.
digital display will give you exactly where it is.
Right. Right. Right.
Okay. If I'm correct, I think I was the first one to innovate the conventional panel into digital panel in 1998, 1999, I believe.
Wow. Wow. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah. So innovation started from that itself.
That's really great, Satya.
Yeah.
So, leading a team, we say is one thing, but overseeing 1,600 plus professionals and managing operations for 60 plus North American clients, it's leadership at an entirely different scale. And that level of responsibility must come with its share of challenges and pressures. How do you personally navigate this balance between leadership, strategy, and execution while ensuring that everything runs smoothly?
Yeah, I think, very good question again. You see, the handling operations for clients
Right.
and transformation, automation together,
Mm-hmm.
I think this needs a lot of attention. Unless
Right.
you will miss out your milestones, you will get into any kind of, contractual obligations, and you might have consequences accordingly. Right.
Right. Right.
I simply follow a few things, Charu. One
Mm-hmm.
is, um, mm, you know, decision-driven leadership.
Okay.
Second one is data-driven leadership.
Right. Right.
Third one, creating high-performing teams. These three, at least, I used to make sure I do that so
Right.
that you can easily, manage your team. You can
Mm-hmm.
balance your work-life balance could be much
Right.
better,
Right. Absolutely.
right? You see, the one is the decision-driven. You should know what are you doing. Are you
Absolutely.
solving the right problem?
Right. Right.
Are you building the system that is scalable? Are you building the right team?
Right.
The right team, when I say high performing team, you have to trust your team has to trust you. Together, we have to trust our customers have to
Absolutely.
customer us, right?
Right.
This is something. And when I talk about data driven decision making, right? Sometimes you have to be very cautious because
Right.
the reason is it is not that always you get the right data from the right sources.
Absolutely.
You get
Absolutely.
mixed up data. So if
Right.
you go
Right.
by that data, then probably your decision making it is going to be wrong, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that is another thing. And for example, right, performing a high performing team, which is again very 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 important,
Right.
right? Without the team, without people, nothing you could deliver,
Absolutely.
right? You have
True.
to create a trust, rapport with the team, and basically,
Absolutely.
yeah. So you have to empower them. You have to empower them, but
Right.
make sure you
Right.
have a complete control and you track the progress and all.
Progress.
Right?
Right.
If you
Right.
delegate and leave it, again, it is a problem.
No, no,
Make sure
absolutely.
you
You
have
have
to,
to. Yeah.
right?
Accountability should be there.
Right. And another thing, what I would do, Charu, I would always look at 10 to 15 days before the calendar commitments.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Something is required
Right.
tomorrow. I don't run behind, people or system or things. I start at least 10 to 15 days before and make sure my commitments are pretty much, well prepared. And, it has gone through a lot of iterations before we deliver it.
Right.
So that is
That's
something I do. But still, some sudden requirements used to come, but we delivered
Mhm.
it. But that is nature.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a very, interesting approach, and it's very interesting to know that, doing things well in advance will make you make sure that if there are any challenges that you face, you can overcome them before the deadline. So
Yeah.
that's a great approach to it. And managing such vast operations require not just technical expertise, but a deep understanding of, people, processes, and the business strategy as well, which is great. So, Satya, leading IT transitions at a Fortune 500 level isn't just about moving systems. It's about managing risk, aligning teams, and ensuring business continuity at high stakes environment. A transition of that scale comes with immense pressure, where even the smallest misstep can lead to disruptions. But you've successfully navigated these complexities time and again. So, in your experience, any key factors that you would like to highlight that determine whether, a large scale IT transition will succeed or fail?
Yeah. Yeah, I think transition and transformations are very critical for any growing business.
Right,
No doubt,
right.
right? And that is very important one. And the Pareto rule is something which I always remember myself, which is nothing but 80-20,
Absolutely.
right?
Right.
Um, 80% results are coming from 20% causes.
Absolutely.
If 20% causes are the positive ones, your results are going to be positive.
Right.
If you are going to mess up this 20%, the 80% it is going to be.
80%. Absolutely.
So transition and transformation both are the same thing, right? You have a contract for 3 years and 5 years. You take decision only for 2 to 3 months of time.
Right.
Transformation goes with the same way because you do a transformation for 3 months to 6 months, but the system
Right.
is going to last
Last
for
long.
years and years. So if you
Absolutely.
don't build system properly, then you are going to struggle, right? So the 80-20, I always remember that.
Right.
When I
Right.
started my first transition in US, and I was in Chicago for transitioning, it was very short time transition, 1 month
Okay.
transition which I did,
Mm-hmm.
and it was very successful transition.
Wow.
The way back and almost 20 years back, right?
Okay. Okay. Right.
And after 1 month transition, customer one day, finally, and he came, and he came up with a kind of trophy and certificate saying that GNOC graduation award.
Wow. Wow.
Okay. And I think that's something, I mean, you have to understand the pain behind the transition. Customer understood. They were pretty skeptical to transition the services to us.
Right. Right.
And it was very smooth transition.
Mm-hmm.
So much relief for them. So they had given the kind of, the award for the
Award. Mm-hmm.
But so far I've transitioned almost, 50 to 60 transitions, including transformations. I think all of them were successful. Touch wood,
Wow.
right?
That's fascinating, Satya. And large scale IT transitions can make or break a company's operations. And it's clear that success of a project isn't just about the technology, but it's also about leadership, planning, and the way you're executing it.
Yeah, yeah. And another thing is, I mean, um, uh, a lot of things are changing in the recent years, I would say.
Right,
The
right.
way you did a transition before COVID, now you
Mm-hmm.
can do it.
Entirely different, I'm
What
sure.
the strategy which I mean, see, the thing is, a rigid and one fits for all approach doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
No more,
Absolutely.
right? We
Absolutely.
stopped long time back. And the
Absolutely.
customer demand is, increasing.
Right.
They give us
Right.
the very short notice,
Right.
right? And before COVID, what we were doing, it was completely work. We all were working in the office itself.
Right.
100% resource loading, it was available in the office. It was easy for you
Absolutely.
to manage, coordinate, socialize, and
Absolutely.
all that.
Absolutely.
During the COVID, it was 100% remote,
Remote.
and now it is hybrid.
It's a hybrid thing,
It is
right?
hybrid, right? So, yeah, I mean, given all the conditions, I think, I used to follow different strategy for any kind of
Right, right,
transition and transformation. And
right.
I'm able to make sure those transitions are very successful, transformations are very successful, especially in digital transformation and all that.
Right, right. And also your ability to adapt to these changes and think of a strategy that will work in different places. That has been great so far.
Oh, yeah. And even, see, But during the COVID time, the customer had given me only 15 days time to transition the large account.
Right.
The way I transitioned it is entirely different. Nobody would have done it in the world, I would say that. Right? It was multi-fold transition, right?
Okay.
And I need to make sure in 15 days, I need to onboard the right resources, right SMEs, leaders, right? And customer had the urgency to terminate
Right.
their contract and release the
Mhm.
existing folks from the incumbent. It was very challenging for transitioning, but we did that successfully.
With that, that's really great. That's really great. So moving on, Satya, we've heard that diversity and inclusions are fundamental to building a stronger, more innovative workplace. However, in industries like tech, where there are rapid advancements, and they frequently overtake cultural changes, achieving true inclusivity can remain a challenge. But as someone who has actively been involved in diversity and inclusive councils, you must have seen firsthand what works and what doesn't. So, based on your experience, what do you think are the most effective ways for companies in industries like tech, especially, can foster truly equitable workplaces?
Yeah. See, creating genuinely equitable workspace is something leaders must make it as part of their company policies,
Right, right,
right?
right.
And make sure you equip with next level leaders and the systems to work accordingly. That is very important,
Absolutely. Just
right?
framing the
It is
policies won't work.
right, not just for the namesake or complaint.
Right, right,
You
right.
have to make it work. That's
Absolutely.
very, very important, right? And let it be gender diversity, LGBTQ, or
Right,
across a state, people from across state, across country,
right, right,
cross
right.
cultural, and all that we have to make sure. See, unless you don't have the proper DNA mix, you are going to miss the great innovations.
Right, right,
The innovations are very important. You need to have the proper DNA mix.
right.
Now, I mean, my experience point of view, Charu, what happens is, let's say 25 years back or even 30 years back, women leaders into the industry or corporate, very, very rare.
Very few. Right,
Very few, right?
right,
Now, I think we are happy that we are able to see a lot of women leaders in the industry, across industry,
right.
not just technical industry,
Across, absolutely.
across industry.
Hmm.
That is a good thing. I think, I sincerely welcome that. So, uh, but how? I mean, but still, I still miss the women leadership in one point in time. In the sense, I mean, I would say the industry, I would say that, right? The reason is some point in time, let's say the 10 to 15 years of experience, the women leaders are moving out of their professional career, taking over their family commitments. Obviously,
Right, right, right. It
right?
happens.
Now, I think industry leaders, they have to really think how to create the space and flexibility for them to sustain for the long
Absolutely.
time, right?
Absolutely.
That is something that is important. I'm aware of the government, what does that do, right?
Mhm.
They have been highly encouraging for DNA,
Right,
right?
right,
You know the system, how it works in India.
right.
But um, I think we still have to do a better job to have the diversity and inclusive across industry. I would say that
Right, right,
that's
right.
very important. I think DNA is very, very important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you've given such an important perspective, Satya.
Yeah,
Because it's clear that real inclusion isn't just, as we talked about, it isn't just about framing policies.
yeah,
It's about everyday actions, commitment from the leadership, and also creating a space where these voices are truly heard. So,
yeah.
Satya, as you reflect on your journey so far, what are your next aspirations, both professionally and or personally? Where do you see yourself, going from here? Do you see yourself taking on larger roles in boardrooms, influencing corporate decision making at the highest level?
Yeah, I would love to. I would love to,
Absolutely.
right? See, given the diversified background from my profile, right? Um, uh, I mean, I was talking about my diploma, right? And it is not
Right.
just I stopped with the diploma. After that,
Absolutely.
I did my Bachelor of Engineering.
Mm-hmm.
I did my
Mm-hmm.
master degree.
Right.
And I'm currently doing my doctorate research in one of the US
Wow.
universities, right? And I have a great understanding about IT infrastructure, digital
Mm-hmm.
transformation, IoT,
Right.
artificial intelligence, and all that. And also I have deep understanding in the legal and compliance as well.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
putting together, I think the my expertise in terms of the organization's delivery, customer relationship, commitment, contractual obligations,
Right.
put together, I think if I could be a part of the board, that's going to help the next generation tech leaders. So I see I know how technological frameworks
Right.
being exercised, at the same time how cybersecurity works,
Right.
how it is aligned with legal and compliance. Those
Mm-hmm.
are pretty much I have good amount of understanding and a
Right.
deeper knowledge and experience that would
Right.
definitely help the board. And the board, I think that is the one of the institution who hold the complete company
Mm-hmm.
success.
Right.
What decision making is being done at the board level, that is
Board
what the
level.
company is going to do. So,
Absolutely.
they have the great responsibility. Board members have the great responsibility to take the right decision and
Absolutely.
move forward with your business success, sustainability, and all that.
Right. Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, I would be more than happy to be part of any board. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I mean, you truly have it's exciting to hear about your vision. And as I was saying that, with the kind of expertise you have in digital transformation, large scale leadership, governance, I have no doubt that your influence in boardroom and beyond will be incredibly impactful.
Thank you, Jaro. Thank you.
So, Satya, in today's business landscape, ESG is no longer a corporate responsibility. It has become a strategic imperative shaping the future of businesses. So, from your perspective, how do you think ESG is influencing technology leadership today? And how can companies in businesses in tech sector align growth with responsible and sustainable practices?
Yeah. So, Charo, another interesting question you asked me, right? Um, every task or activity that you do,
Right.
it is mostly aligned with company's growth, long lasting,
Right.
sustainability, success, and all that, right?
Right.
But when you talk about ESG, this is one of the noble scope every
Mm-hmm.
company has to stick to it, right? The reason
Right.
why I'm
Right.
saying this, ESG has its own regulatory and compliance at the government level.
Right.
Right? There is a proper description and
Mm-hmm.
predefined notes are already given, guidelines are already given. Every company has to stick to it.
Stick to it.
But
Right.
ESG point of view, I would say, I mean, why I'm saying this is a noble scope that you do is when you do a business, you make profit for your company today, then the
Mm-hmm.
profit is only for today. But when you do
So true.
ESG,
Right.
when you do ESG, you do it for your tomorrow's generation, future
Wow.
generation. This ESG compliance, it is going to shape up your future business as well.
Right. Right.
While I understand that there is a regulatory compliance from the government side, the
Mm-hmm.
other side, when you maintain a proper ESG compliance, this is going to attract the market and the grasp so much of customers too, right? Many customers are, not many, I would say all the customers are
All.
looking for
Mm-hmm.
ESG compliance.
Right. Right.
So it
Right.
is very important. When you talk about, IT industry, e-waste management, it is very, very important.
Very important.
We
Mm-hmm.
have to make sure we do it properly.
Right.
The recycling waste management system, Microsoft and the Google, they are trying to make it 100%,
Oh,
right?
wow.
And
Mm-hmm.
obviously, I think every company has to do that. And we have to make sure as part of the ESG, circular economy is enabled.
Right. Right.
Enabling circular economy, it is going to be important one for any
Mm-hmm.
players.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And these are certain things I think we have to make sure. The same goes to non-IT industry also, right?
Absolutely.
Let it
Absolutely.
be your, pollution control board, electricity, carbon emission,
Right.
smoke, or any kind of, pollution in terms of, ground pollution or noise pollution, water pollution, so many other things.
As simple as waste management.
Waste management, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is very, very important, and ESG plays a major role across industry now. Yeah.
Absolutely. You've given such an important perspective, Satya, that following the ESG principles, ESG guidelines will
Right.
help the future of the company.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah,
especially, the now IT companies, they started, sticking to general data protection part and
right.
yeah, compliance.
Hmm.
Those are some standard compliance, every
Right, right.
stick to it. So ESG is not just for the non-IT companies, manufacturing
It's
companies.
everywhere.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Right. And it gives the company also an edge over the competitors, if you're following those principles.
Correct. You are right.
Right.
You are
Right.
right.
Yeah, so it's absolutely about just not about meeting the standards, but also shaping the future of responsible and sustainable business. So, yeah.
Right.
So, Satya, leadership is an ever evolving journey, and staying ahead in today's fast, challenging corporate landscape requires continuous learning. And as we discussed, that you are still pursuing your doctorate right now. So, what inspired you to join Directors Institute, and how has the experience broadened your perspective on corporate governance and boardroom leadership?
Yeah, I think I was so desperate to join the Director Institute because of their expertise in independent directors and the corporate
Right.
governance programs. Um, we do a lot of technological stuff that is different, but when it comes to board, you need to have certain things because you are not experienced,
Absolutely. Right.
right? And if you want to know some good amount of case studies, right? And you have to come to an institute like, Director Institute
Mm.
or any other, good institutions. I just chosen Director Institute because of the leaders who are, taking class
Associated. Right.
associated with, and especially, the professors like, Sudarshan sir and all that, they come up with great experience in the industry, right?
Right, right.
And we have a weekend live sessions and all that. I think, I mean, enormous amount of knowledge is sharing it across. And those case studies you don't even go through or study yourself. Somebody will
Absolutely.
tell you, right?
Right, right, right.
And that's one of the reason I did that. And especially, and this particular institute, they have practical knowledge sharing sessions, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And which is something I like.
Okay.
Right. That's the reason. I mean, nothing more actually. Yeah.
It's really interesting, Satya, and it's great to hear that the Directors Institute is able to help you and leaders like yourself gain deeper understanding of governance and prepare for an impactful role in boardrooms. So that's really great to hear.
Yeah.
And with that, we've come to an end of another exciting episode of FaceTime with Leaders. Satya, your insights today have been nothing short of enlightening. It's been a privilege to hear your thoughts on evolving tech landscape, the future of boardroom leadership, and the importance of continuous learning. I'm sure our listeners have taken away valuable lessons from this conversation. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to seeing how you continue to shape the industry and drive meaningful change. Wishing you continued success in the future for your endeavors. Thank you so much for joining us.